Hi everyone, welcome back for another video here on the channel. I'm Stevie J, the non-gambling golfer. I'm going to be doing a club build today. I'm going to show you all the steps taken. I've got some Orca RS1X heads. These are hollow-bodied heads, a little bit along the lines of the P770s, slightly smaller heel-to-toe design. And we've got a couple of Orca wedges as well, 56 and a 52. They're a parallel head. So I'm going to be using these. Oh, these are beautiful. These are the original Royal Precision shafts, the rifle shafts. These are the flighted version, 6.3, so a nice strong stiff flex on these. And for the wedges, those are parallel shafts, so they'll fit lovely into the heads. I've got some KBS Tour Custom Series blacked out PVD shafts. For the wedges, they are, however, taper tip, so we're going to have to shim these, which will be another bit for the video to see. I'm going to video through it. I might do some commentary over the top, but yeah, let's get on with the build and prep the heads, get started. So these were ex-demo heads, so I had to remove the epoxy from inside the head, so I heated up the epoxy that was left. There's not loads in there, so instead of using a drill bit to pull loads out, I just used my hosel brush, wire hosel brush there, to loosen it all off and tap out the glue that was still in there, the epoxy. Of course, once I've done this and cleaned the head out correctly, I've got to prepare it properly, make sure it's a proper dust-free surface. So you'll see there in the background, I've got my acetone, and I'll just dip the hosel brush into the acetone so that I can just whirl that round and make sure we've got no more debris inside the head. I've obviously got 8 heads to go, so I won't bore you with all 8 heads, but this was the process used to clean them out. So on to the next bit. So now I'm popped the shaft into the head, and I'm measuring the length and making sure I'm measuring the correct length I want to cut to in my Special Club Builders measure. I am one of those people that does believe in measure twice, cut once. Because the last thing I want to do is waste an expensive shaft by cutting it wrong. So once I've finished in here, I always like to do it the old-fashioned way and pop it down on the floor with the head still on, obviously, and use a metal rule just to check that I've measured it to the length that I want to measure it to. Bearing in mind, of course, there's that small little bit extra with the grip that will stick over the end as well with the butt cap. So let me just double checking. And then all I've got to do is the rest of the shafts, and then double check my measurements again, because that's what I like to do, and make sure everything's lined up, and then we'll be ready for cutting. Right, we've made the marks, half-inch increments from 37.5 inches on the 7-iron, and now it's time for cutting. Got me safety precautions on, ready to go. So as you can see, I'm making my cuts now on the shaft. I don't have a bench saw, surely for financial reasons, if I'm perfectly honest with you. But this is a high yield cut-off wheel, Duralox cut-off wheel for both steel and graphite shafts that's in this angle grinder. Old school, I think, is the terminology there. All cut, ready. Now we've got to prep the tips. So to prep, we need a surface for the head to bond to, so it's just taking the finish off of the metal tip. Obviously with graphite, you've got to be a lot more careful. For this build, I was looking for a swing weight of D4, so I've gone with the Golf Pride Tour Velvet mid-size plus 4s. They weighed in at about 68 grams a grip, which should help me get to the swing weight that I'm trying to get to. Swing weighting was pretty good throughout the set, apart from a couple of clubs, which were just a touch heavy on the sort of D5.5 range. So I was just weighing up a little bit of lead tape here just to wrap around the very butt of the club, which I'll smooth down so that the grip will slip over you won't even notice it's there, and it will just edge down that swing weight to the D4, which I'm looking for. Done with the green and black colour coordinating on this, so they're the lovely ferrules I'm going to be using. These ferrules are actually quite tight to get on, to be fair. Lovely ferrules, a little bit more hard work, but tap the ferrules onto the end, and then a little magic trick of some warm water to get them loosened up, to get them all the way on, comes up next. Not playing ball, so a little bit of hot water, soften up the plastic, not for long, don't want to melt it. There we go. Just tap her on. Okay. She's ready. 7 more. 6 more. 5 more. Can't count. Oh dear. There we go. A little bit of hot water. And it goes on nice and easy. Mix up the 24-hour epoxy. (50-50). Now put some shaft beads in as well. Little glass beads help with the fit. Not too many. A little bit in the head. Make sure we got a little, you can hear those glass beads just tightening up the fit on the head. And just a little wipe. So as I said, this is a colour build, so I'm putting on a green and black metallic shaft wrap. So I'm just making some measurements to cut my wraps to the right length so that I can put the grips on afterwards and hide the seam or the end of the shaft wrap. Huge apologies to everyone watching this, but my workshop has a tin roof and it is baking hot. So it's probably too hot really to be doing the shaft wraps in. And that's why I don't have a t-shirt on. I apologise, but needs must. Then this, you got to definitely take your time on this and do it bit by bit. You can't just throw it on and wrap it round. It will end up with bubbles or notches or ninks on it. So take your time, do it bit by bit, slowly up and down. Make sure all the air bubbles are out. These are my shaft wraps. There are companies out there that you can use. It was actually so hot up there, I was struggling to get the double-sided tape to stick onto the shaft. That's how hot it was. So probably not the best day to be doing this, but I'd started, so I'll finish. Pitching wedge, D4.5, 9 D4. Really happy with the final look of these with that lovely green and black metallic shaft wrap. It's a bit hard to see actually in the light, but they look absolutely stunning and lots of comments already. The swing weights came out at D4, pitching wedge was D4.5, which is fine, slightly heavier in the wedges. And yeah. One last thing, a quick apology. I completely forgot to film building of the wedges with those taper shafts into the parallel heads. I guess I'll have to do that in another video. And please do hit like if you enjoyed and subscribe if you haven't already. Costs nothing and you can see more videos.